To be honest, I didn't decide to be a photographer. Sometimes things happen between even you decide it. My name is Halah Alfadl, and I'm an art and culture expert. I live in Riyadh, and I grew up when I was young in Riyadh, and then we lived abroad for a while. I loved art since I was young. I took it as a serious path, so I study abroad art. I studied my college here in Prince Noor University, and then I took my master's degree in Philadelphia in US. There wasn't a lot of appreciation for art. So art education, it was in that time, it was for people who wants to be a teacher. So this is the only path for you. You study art in Saudi Arabia, in that college, you're going to be a teacher. You're going to teach art. And then, but I believed it. I believed that I will be something. I don't know what, but I believed it inside me that this passion, it will become something in the end, and that's who am I. My turning point in my life is when I went abroad, because it wasn't my plan to go outside of my country. Living 7 years outside of the country, I discovered myself more. When I started my master's degree, this one of the also another turning points in my life. I was pregnant in my first semester, and my advisor was shocked because I'm pregnant, and she said, "You have to take an off. You cannot keep going and studying." And I said, "No, I can do. I know I can do." They was pushing me hard to take off and until I have the baby and stay one more year, but my plan just to finish my master's degree before I get the 30. You know, I have a plan in my life. I always have a plan. That time it was so hard because most of the advisors, they don't want to take on a pregnant woman, because a pregnant woman, she will be focused about herself, not doing art. I survived that time. I survived it very well, and I do remember my advisor who was pushing me in my first semester, and she said, "Sorry, I'm not going to be your advisor anymore." In the last semester, she came to me and she said, "I want to be your advisor." I remember my first project in art was me in between. I was talking about myself, me in between these two different areas, between me as an Halah who grew up in Saudi and me who find herself a little bit. Because I discovered myself more, I found out that there is a lot of women like me who been abroad and they find their self more. And that takes me to the next step for doing my project, which we saw in Paris. It was showing in Paris 2 years ago. It's Mixed Beliefs, which is I interview 50 women who been abroad of Saudi Arabia and see how they become more different. It's not different, it's more become themselves more, and finding their new identity. My idea was to catch up this new identity. So I found out that the eye is the new print for identity. So I catch up that for each woman, I took a picture of her eye, and because the circle is always related to a woman, like the circle of change. So we never know the change of that woman since even 1,000 years ago about with their rights, and it started. We never know when it started. Now I'm trying to move to get something that touched me, because in that period was women's right, and how a woman in a culture like us in Saudi, is a very bit strict culture, become her own self. She expressed her own, not her family or her society or her country. Between the 15 years ago and now, it's a huge change. It's a very huge change. I think it didn't happen in the whole history about this in this country, especially about art. I think we 10 doubles the art vendors. We have 10 doubles exhibitions and the gallery. So it's a huge change. And I don't know how it's going to be in the next 5 years. I can't even imagine, because this fast change is very crazy and unique and amazing.